glad you're watching. You know, this is one of my favorite weeks of the whole year. Not just Christmas, which I absolutely love, but the last week of the year. That is such an awesome time for you to close out the year with finishing up some of the goals and things that maybe you were pursuing all year. But more importantly, to plan for the future, to plan for this upcoming year, to set time aside, to get out your pen and paper, get your dreams and goals notebooks out, and start writing those things down that you believe God wants you to pursue. You know, we have just come out with a new notebook called 5 Years From Now. And I really want you to get this because, you know, you might be thinking 5 years, that's a long way away. But 5 years goes by like that. It's gone before you even know it. And I don't want you to just waste years of your life not succeeding on purpose. I want you to have something you're aiming towards that keeps you on target. You know, when you have a vision or a dream, something in front of you keeping you focused, it also helps you to avoid distractions because Satan's always bringing distractions to get you off focus. You know, they say the only reason men fail is broken focus. That's getting your eyes off your vision, off of God, and looking at all the things around you. So I want you to get this notebook and think 5 years from now. You know, Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, he did this study on the major causes of failure. And he found that 98 out of the 100 people he analyzed had no aim. He said, perhaps that's the major cause of failure. They had no aim. They weren't focused on anything. And I speak from experience. When I had no dreams in front of me, no vision, no goals, my only thing was just get up and go to work and go home and repeat the same thing. My life did not change 1 year after another. It wasn't until I began to think, to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, to just sit quietly and think and turn off everything and get away from everybody and turn the TV off and just think about my future. When I began to do that and then I began to write those things down, I began to live on purpose. And you know, God's gonna, on Judgment Day, think about it, He's gonna hold your life in front of you and say, did you do what I called you to do? I read somewhere, somebody said, wouldn't it be a sad day in heaven? There's not gonna be sadness there. But to look at all that you could have been, you could have done, and you could have had. But maybe you were afraid to dream. Well, I'm telling you, you're watching this on purpose because God's telling you it's time to dream. Just give Him 5 minutes this week, every night, to just think. You know, I wrote things down years ago, 5 different things that I was believing God for that I felt like God wanted me to pursue. And every single one of those happened. Every one of them, from ministering on a TV broadcast every week with my dad, to writing books and seeing them in bookstores all over the world, starting a work in France, helping teenage girls, starting a women's conference, all those things that I saw 5 years ago that looked impossible. But I wrote the vision down, but not only that, I sowed seed for them. I invested. I gave some of my money towards these dreams. You know, it's kind of like when a farmer, when he sows seed, he has a picture of what he wants. He knows exactly what he's sowing seed for. He's not just throwing seed in the ground and wondering what's going to show up. Well, I do the same thing. I get a picture of what I'm believing for, and then I sow towards it. I say, Lord, I am sowing seed for this women's conference. And the thing that I've noticed is that, you know, when you sow your best, God honors that. When you say, Lord, this is the best I have, God honors that every time. And God has this amazing way of multiplying our seed. Do you remember that story in Mark 6 where Jesus was teaching a big group of people, you know, and it was thousands of people, and it's starting to get late, and the disciples said to Jesus, you know, it's getting kind of late, maybe we should let everybody go home and let them eat supper. And Jesus said, you do it. Fix supper for them. They said, are you serious? You want us to go spend a fortune for their supper? Jesus was quite serious. He said, how many loaves of bread do you have? Take an inventory. This is the Message translation, obviously. It says, that didn't take long. 5, they said, plus 2 fish. Jesus got them all to sit down in groups of 50 or 100. He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, lifted His face to heaven in prayer, blessed it, broke it, and gave the bread to the disciples and the fish. They all ate their fill, and then it says, the disciples gathered 12 baskets of leftovers, and more than 5,000 people were fed at that supper. Now, what I want you to get from this story is that basically the disciples were saying, Jesus, this is all we have. And Jesus was saying, that's all I'm asking for. They gave him all that they had. Jesus multiplied it, and it was more than enough. God will do the same thing for you. When you give him the best, he'll give you his best. When you sow a significant seed, he'll give you a significant harvest. Whatever you're believing God for, sow a seed towards it. Now's the perfect time more than ever. As you're writing out your dreams, sow a seed for it. And write that down. You know, I was reading a story a while back about a guy, which you may have heard of him, and you can Google it and look it up for yourself if you want. But it's a guy named Kyle McDonald, who at 25 years old was married, going to college, and the one thing he wanted was a house. Listen to this story. It says he had a vision for a house. Problem was he was broke, didn't have anything. In school, he didn't have a chance to take on extra hours and make extra money, but he had this dream. So he said, you know what, I bet I could find other ways to make money. I'll just look around the house, see if there's anything I can sell, put on eBay, Craigslist, something like that. So he went and looked around, but the problem was he didn't have anything, except he had this one red paper clip. The only thing in his house that he didn't have use for was the red paper clip. So he said, well, I'll put the red paper clip on Craigslist, just see if anybody will trade me something for the paper clip. All of a sudden, he gets a response from someone who says, I'll give you a pen that looks like a fish for that one red paper clip. So he said, well, that sounds like a step up. So he made the trade. Gave him the red paper clip, got the fish pen. He said he did this 14 times. He traded things, little things, 14 times. After the 14th time of trading to get something a little bit better, he got a snow globe. But it wasn't just any snow globe, it was an antique snow globe of the band Kiss. So he put that up on Craigslist and he said, this is a snow globe for the band Kiss. If anybody wants to trade me something better, you know, have at it, whatever. So he put it on Craigslist. All of a sudden he gets a contact from a man who he later finds out from probing is a movie producer. Turns out the movie producer collects snow globes and likes the band Kiss. So he said, I want to trade you for your snow globe. What do you want in return? He said, what I want in return is a spot in your next movie. I want to roll in your next movie with Brad Pitt, keywords. He said, well, all right, I'll give you a little spot, a little speaking role in my next movie. So he gave it to him. But then this guy, the red paperclip guy, he goes around and puts the spot in the movie up for bid. He says, who wants to be in a movie with Brad Pitt and what will you trade me for it? All of a sudden he gets a contact from a mayor in a little city in Wisconsin, and he said, I'll give you a house for the right to be in that movie. Sure enough, he traded that movie role for a house, a brand new home, 3 bedrooms, kitchen, living room, dining room, and the man didn't have anything except a red paperclip. Think about that. You can Google it yourself. In fact, he lives in this cute little house with a giant red paperclip in the front yard. But I want you to think about, what do you have that's significant to you that you can sow seed towards? Because God honors it. It's not so much the size of the seed that matters to God, it's the significance of it. Every dream that you have in your heart, sow a seed for it, because it will produce a harvest. This is how you turn what if into what is. Think about your life 5 years from now, see something and sow something. Thank you for watching, and happy, happy New Year.